Yeah, at the early kickoff is of course Manchester City versus Nottingham. Then later on, Brighton is playing Arsenal. Arsenal is at home. Liverpool is playing Wolves, and later I think the late kickoff it is Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Chelsea will be hosting Aston Villa at Stamford Bridge. So I said, why not? Let's do a little preview of what I expect, the lineups, and if we start with Man City, because since it is the early kickoff, I think Man City will win this game. Lately, they have been on a very good run. They are having a good time. I even can't remember the last time City lost a game. Was it in the Champions League? Lately, they have been scoring goals for fun. Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, the performances of Ryan Cheeky, Gigi Donnarumma. I think Man City have been looking good right now. Of course, they are second at the table, two points behind Arsenal, but they have been good, and Arsenal have been lately getting the wins, but scrapping to get the wins. They have had some bit of luck, of course, but that's football. But Man City have been flying. So, of course, I expect Man City to start with Gigi Donnarumma in goal, Josko Gavadio and Ruben Diaz in centre back. Then Matthew Nunes and Nico Riley, the left back and the right back and the full back. Then the midfield, I expect Nico Williams and Nico Gonzalez, that kid from Barcelona. Is a Masia graduate, yeah? Then Barcelona sold him to FC Porto. Then Man City bought him from FC Porto. And then Bernardo Silva, I expect Regina to come in to start today. Then of course at the front line, I expect Erling Braut Haaland and Phil Foden and Ryan Cheeky. That is the lineup I expect for Man City. But with Pep, you can never say never. He always changes something in his lineup. For Nottingham, I think I expect them to start with their usual goalkeeper, John Victor. Then centre back, I expect them Milinkovic and Moliro. You know Moliro, the big one, the Brazilian that is strong. Then at left back, I expect them to start with Nico Williams. They have Nico Williams. Then they have Nicolo at right back. Oh, that name seems like he's an Italian name. I'll check out and find out to see which the nationality. Then on the midfield, I expect Douglas Luiz. Man, I don't. I've never. It surprises me that Douglas Luiz is even playing for Nottingham. It's not a bad club, but there were moments where he was flying at Aston Villa. And big clubs wanted Douglas Luiz. He was linked with Manchester United. He was linked with Liverpool. He was linked with Arsenal, and he ended up going to Juventus. Man, it is a surprise. So I expect the midfield to be the double pivot of Douglas Luiz and Elliot Anderson. Then at the front line, I expect Gibbs White, Omar Hutchison. Then on the other side of the wing, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and in front I expect Inigo Jesus. You know the Brazilian, the one with a lot of tattoos. That's this celebration. Yeah. That's who I expect Nottingham to start with, but I expect Man City to win this game comfortably. Maybe not too comfortably, like a 3-1, a 2-1, but I expect Man City to win. But if we jump onto the next game, Arsenal have been struggling to win, but they have been winning their games. But it's not the same as they started the season. They are not putting in good performances like they did at the start of the season. But hey, they have been winning the 3 points, and it's the Premier League. You cannot win. You always have to find those tough. You always have to overcome some situations throughout the entire season. And I think Arsenal, their lineup, it's obvious. They will start. The center. Gabriel is out. Of course, Gabriel is out. So you expect them to start with the two center backs of Saliba and Hikapi, and the other center back they also signed from the black one. Yeah? They signed from Valencia is out, so I expect them to. Ben White is also out, so I expect them to start with Hikapi and Saliba. Then I think I left back. These days he has been starting with Calafiori. Luis Kelly is always on the bench. Then at right back, I expect them Timber. Then goalkeeper, it's obvious, David Raya is their starting goalkeeper. Then with the midfield, they expect Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Then on the forward line, you expect, of course, the big man Gyökeres to be up top. And at times he goes with Martinelli, at times he goes with Trossard, but for me personally, I think Trossard is a better footballer than Martinelli. Though Martinelli, it depends on the kind of game, yeah? Because Martinelli is very good at exploiting spaces since he has some pace more than Trossard, but I think Trossard is a better footballer overall than Bukayo Saka and Martin Odegaard. That is the lineup I expect from Arsenal. So I also think Arsenal, they may get a tight win, but they're at home. So if we jump onto the other, and for Arsenal head to head, they have managed to win 3 out of 5 games they have played with Brighton. Brighton hasn't won, they have 2 draws. So Arsenal have managed to win 3 wins and 2 draws. And if we jump onto the other one, the Liverpool and Wolves, Liverpool has managed to win all the 5 games playing Wolves. So I think, and Liverpool have managed to win the past 3 games, the one of Inter Milan in the Champions League and the 2 Premier League games. They have managed to win, so you could say that Liverpool, they are not back where they were last season, but I think they are flying. I expect them to start with Alisson in goal and Van Dijk and Konate at centre back. Then at times he goes with Kekes, at times he goes with Robertson. I think it depends on the game. Then for the right back, I think I'll have to wait to see what he's going to do, what Ancelotti is going to do for the right back, because Conor Bradley is doubtful and Frimpong got injured. He was subbed off in the previous game they had, and at times he plays with, so he puts Szoboszlai at right back, but he's been good at right back. So I'm waiting to see whether Conor Bradley will make the squad, or he will have to play Szoboszlai at right back. Then for the midfield, of course, you expect Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, whether he has played in the midfield, but you expect McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, then Florian Wirtz. You expect him to play. Mo Salah is out, he went to AFCON. Hugo Ekitike, who am I missing? I don't know if now, this is what is confusing me a bit. If you decide to play Szoboszlai at right back, yet you're missing Salah, I think you have to play Jones in the midfield. If you decide to play Szoboszlai at right back, that means, of course, he has to play Curtis Jones and McAllister and Gravenberch in the midfield. That is his only option. But if Conor Bradley is back, then you can play Conor Bradley as a right back, then Szoboszlai and Gravenberch and McAllister in the midfield. So we shall see how it pans out. Cody Gakpo is also injured. Liverpool have some injuries, so that's the lineup I expect from Liverpool. But I expect Liverpool to win this game comfortable. Wolves, they are sitting last at the table. They only have 2 points. Can you imagine? 2 points. So I expect Liverpool to win this game. So if at all we go to the big one of the weekend, I think, in my opinion, Aston Villa Chelsea hosting Aston Villa. With Chelsea is like Man United, man. You can never. They are very inconsistent and they are very unpredictable. You can never know when they will win, when they will lose. There are games where you expect them to lose and then they win. There are games then you expect them to win and then they lose. So Man United and Chelsea, they are very inconsistent. So I see this game is quite a bit tough because Aston Villa, I think they are on the run for 8 games. They have won all the 8 games they have played. They have won all their last 8 games. So they are on a good run, Aston Villa. But the thing is, Chelsea, they always win when you least expect them to, and they lose and they drop points against teams you did not expect them to. So, and I think they are playing at home. I think Chelsea can win this game, or maybe get a draw, because Cole Palmer is back, and if you have Cole Palmer, then you have Pedro Neto, then you have Joao Pedro up front, then Garnacho on this side. With Garnacho is like Man United, very inconsistent. His decision making is very poor in the final third. You know those players that seem busy on the pitch, but his output is very poor. But when he comes on his day, maybe when he's having a good game, he can score goals. But for me, I think he still has a lot of improvement to do, Garnacho. Then, if that's their forward line, then with the midfield of Caicedo, I think Caicedo is back after his red card, yeah. With Caicedo and Enzo. Then the back line is what troubles Chelsea mostly, because if you have Rice at right back, then you have the 2 centre backs. I think Fofana is back, and I think for me, if I'm the best centre backs, I think for Chelsea right now is Chalobah and Fofana. Their partnership is good, and then of course Sanchez in goal. For the left back, Cucurella of course. So I expect Chelsea to win this game like a 2-1, at least. If not, maybe a draw, but I expect them to win. So guys, that's my preview, Premier League preview. I'll be back after games to tell you what I got right or what I failed to get right. Then to give you the analysis of how I watched the matches, how they went, to dive into everything. So bye bye.